Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Obviously, I'm not Doug Beavis, Joe Elmer with the Chamber. Doug has, as he often does, double booked himself today. So he's off somewhere else. And you got me, I'm in my scrubs today because the Chamber's getting ready for second Friday tomorrow night. So I'm doing manual labor today. But we'll go ahead and get started. Appreciate everybody joining us. Let me go ahead and introduce Gerry Cierra. He's the marketing specialist for Security National Mortgage. He's here to share some insights on Facebook and some good marketing practices in 2021.
That is right.
Gerry,
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Chamber for the invitation, and thank you for the great initiatives you're bringing to not only the Chamber members, but to our community. It is great what you're doing. I would like to share today with the group the very basic on marketing, which is an effective marketing plan.
Okay.
And we have a challenge, and I'm sure that the people in the group are going to agree with me on this. We have a common challenge, especially this year, and it's cutting through the noise. So in the last year, the saturation among all communication outlets has reached all-time high levels. And it's obvious this was due to the pandemic and because everything turned virtually. So we are living still in the information era where virtually everything we need is available to us whenever we need it. Professionals such as attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, real estate agents, mortgage lenders have become validators of the information because people already have the information and they come to the professionals to validate that information. So for instance, a real estate professional has to deal with a client that already saw 15, 20, 25 properties, and they are experts already.
They've already got the Zillow price.
That is right. And they come to the professional to validate what they already gathered. So sharing messages with our audiences have become more challenging over the time. Attention spans are smaller. Every 3 or 4 posts on every social media outlet are advertisements. People's email inboxes, I don't know if yours, but mine is cluttered with spam. Scam calls have altered the normal way that we do business. So my purpose of today's presentation is to provide you with 1 or 2 tools that you will leave today and you can implement either today or tomorrow, and we'll be able to cut through the noise. I would like to make this a little more interactive. So if the people that are in the Zoom could help me, who has a business plan for their business or for their company?
I'm sure somebody out there, Thomas, you must have a business plan.
Who has included a marketing plan as part of their business plan?
Yeah.
Thomas, are you experiencing the saturation problem in your business?
Well, I got like 10 different plans because I don't know how everything turns out every week. But yeah, absolutely. Depending on how supply and demand goes, and supplies, especially with everything today, supplies is the hardcore part. But in our marketing situation, it also goes back to who my target audience is and if they are in the market for what we're looking for.
That is right. So sometimes we get overwhelmed immediately and we ask ourselves, where do we start? So as a marketer, I would recommend, and this is the very basic of marketing, we need to evaluate the 4 P's of the marketing mix, which is the product, and that is pretty much the characteristics of my product or my service. The price is all those factors that affect the cost, the final cost of the consumer. The place where our product or service will be distributed, and the promotion, and that's the area we are going to focus a little bit more today. And that has to do with the message to persuade our target audience, as Thomas mentioned, to buy our products or service. So the very first step is creating a marketing plan. Step number one, you need to audit your business. You need to ask yourself, where are we now? For this purpose, a SWOT model would be a great tool. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's a great starting point. Then, and I believe that this is the most important of all, you need to define clear objectives. It's not what you wish, what you are dreaming to accomplish. Try to make real objectives on where you want to go. And please don't focus only on numbers, because you can lose track of some key values that are part of your business. For instance, you can focus on customer service. Once you get a customer, how can you?
You went on mute there.
Sorry, Michael. Sorry, inexperience, apologize.
How about the communication? How can we deliver information to them? And is the struggle we are dealing with? We are all trying to save time in all the processes. And another great strategy is the wow factor. How can we wow our clients? And that's normally one thing that helps us to cut through the noise, those wow factors. Once we define the objectives, it is a great thing to do to identify the resources and tools we count on or within our organization. The personnel in charge to execute the marketing strategy, and the tools such as technology, infrastructure, and so on and so forth. Once we identify that, and sorry, I'm getting a little bit technical, but I believe that this is the very basic, and that sets a pretty good base. I'm going to move a little bit into the digital strategy, but we need the very basics on marketing. So then, until then, we can create our strategy. It's important to establish actionable items for that strategy, quantifiable items. For instance, if we are talking about the digital strategy, how many posts a week we are going to do? If we are trying to conduct webinars, how often are we conducting these webinars? I know that this, for instance, economic development happens every month, and it's part of a plan. So there is a plan behind it. It's not as spontaneous as it seems. It's part of a plan. And also you need to set a timeline and a budget. That definitely brings reality to your strategy. And then we need to follow up through monitoring, managing, and improving what we are doing. And these are a few questions that help us achieve in an easy way the process of creating a marketing plan. What are we trying to accomplish? Who is in charge? How are we going to do it? When is it going to get done? And how much is it going to cost? A few marketing principles. We need to create awareness. One, we create awareness, we drive traffic to our either store, we funnel people through our pipelines and try to drive conversions. Now, we finally got people to walk in our stores, they purchase, great. Now we need to focus on retention. And I have a very interesting piece of information here. It is more expensive, and it's approximately 5 times more expensive to get a new customer than to retain an existing one. So let's soak that, please. It is 5 times more expensive to get a new customer than to retain an existing one. Because we already did the create awareness step. We already brought people to our establishment. Now we need to focus on retention. So the challenge is cutting through the noise. How? We need to understand the people in our audience. How do we understand people in our audience? That is the following question. So I'm going to jump on a few digital insights. The online platforms, that has become the new place to be. YouTube and Facebook, everyone thinks that Facebook is, I've heard it so many times, that Facebook is dying a little bit, and other platforms are getting more popular with the time, but statistics show otherwise. YouTube is the #1 and preferred platform among all, just followed by Facebook. And in this chart, we can see the big gap between YouTube and Facebook and the rest of the platforms.
Wow.
So the third platform is Instagram, and that is the one that is getting more popular over time. So YouTube and Facebook are the most used platforms by US adults. Another fascinating piece of information is that YouTube and Facebook are the platforms equally used across all demographics. So everyone loves to use YouTube and Facebook. Also, Facebook, and this is fascinating, is still the leading online platform among US adults in frequency of usage. YouTube, people go to YouTube for tutorials.
Mhm.
I found myself skipping the manual that came with a rack that I installed in my garage, and I just decided to go to Google and see how it was done.
Right.
So
It's just to interrupt a bit.
Yes.
It's amazing the educational value of YouTube and how you can learn. I mean, you can find anything, how to repair any part of your car, and it's just amazing.
absolutely. And I am personally a visual learner.
Mhm.
So
Right.
if they guide me step by step, do this piece here,
Right.
and followed by this step. And there's a lot of people out there that just love that. It's not interaction, but it feels like interaction. That is the fascinating part. So I cannot skip Instagram, because that's a must talk these days, especially when it comes to business. 70% of shopping enthusiasts turn to Instagram for product discovery. 70%. 69% of US marketers plan to spend most of their influencer budget on Instagram. Now, this is talking a little bit about demographics. It is still a younger population that is using Instagram. My still preferred go-to is Facebook, because that talks to everyone. Now it's a matter, I can control a little bit more my message, and by tailoring my message, I can hit my target audience. And 90% of people on Instagram follow at least one business. So one recommendation for you, if you don't have an Instagram account, please open one and make sure that it's a business account. And more importantly, interact with other businesses. Businesses like to interact back, they follow you back, they are very active, and why not trying to be active as well? And the key with every platform is to determine what features type of content, time of the day preferred by your audience. You need to know your audience, and you can, especially nowadays, you can know your audience through analytics. Now we get analytics through Facebook to YouTube. Every platform provides us with data. So it's our duty to analyze that data and get to know the habits of our audience. For instance, our mortgage company probably has a completely different audience than a restaurant.
Right.
So we need to analyze every audience per business. So let's review a couple techniques that are trending currently. And these are 2021 marketing trends. 2020 changed the landscape completely of how marketing is done. The personalization, that was a trend coming from maybe 2016 to today, but increased in 2020. Personalization, and this gives customers the control, and they love to have control, especially now that they have all the information at their disposal. They love to feel in control. Who doesn't?
Right.
Content. Content is defined these days by current events. We all probably noticed and found out about the tragedy that happened in Miami. So a lot of companies show solidarity to what happened at Surfside, and that's just a piece of content that it's surrounding current events. That's how you show that you care about your community, you are relevant, and you provide content that is considered valuable by your audience. Now, this is another fascinating to me, and we are experiencing it now: hybrid conferences and events. So we have an in-person audience and we have a virtual audience right now. So, and this is the trend, at least for the rest of 2021, and at least for the first half of 2022. And why? Because virtual is still more convenient, it's cheaper, people don't have to even dress up to show up to places. The commute time is non-existent when you don't have to commute. That saves time, that saves hassle in general. So that's why virtual, a lot of companies have discovered the virtual world and have adopted it.
Right.
And they are not going.
I think it's here to stay.
It is here to stay. And that is why a great practice is to keep hybrid conferences like this one, where you give the control back to the consumer and you let them decide, what do you want to do? You want to attend in person, or you want to stay at your home?
Yeah, I mean, because here at the chamber, we do a weekly lunch and learn on Wednesday, and it's a hybrid deal. So people that are out working and maybe don't have the time to actually get in the car and drive here can participate via Zoom.
That is right.
And although they don't get to participate in one of these lovely lunches, but it's still, I mean, it's quite popular.
Yes, you give the option, and that is the key. Again, you give the control back to the consumer, and they control their environment, their schedule, and their interactions. Consumer spending keeps increasing, and that is a trend that has been showing since probably last year, towards the end of last year, and increased exponentially the first quarter of 2021, and the trend will remain the same. Streaming keeps taking center stage. Everything is streaming these days. Netflix was a pioneer in that. Now cable is taking a big hit, and they have transformed completely how they do business. Everything, every channel, at least every major competitor, every station, TV station, has their streaming platform. And this again goes back to giving the consumer the control. So these are, and I'm bringing this up to our meeting because these are good trends to implement in our companies, into our services, into our products, of course, in the extent we can. I love this, the nostalgia for in-store and in-person experiences. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I just know that they are not going to experience the fascination of walking into a Toys R Us store.
Right.
So that is a very emotional thing. I mean, even as an adult, I enjoyed walking into a Toys R Us. But then I think of the convenience of shopping through Amazon.
Right.
So it's, which one do I choose? But now I don't have a choice with the Toys R Us.
It's just so hard to not use Amazon. I mean,
That is
you
right.
can shop from your bedroom and get whatever you want.
So the question is, oh, and one more, the acceleration and the use of virtual tools. We had these virtual tools even before the pandemic hit. Zoom, this is very curious. Zoom was about to file for bankruptcy before the pandemic hit. And it became the most used platform during the pandemic. And it's still very popular. We have the tools, now we are just using them, we are discovering new features. Technology developers are adding other features as we go, and we are just adapting to the virtual reality, to the virtual world. So what should our digital marketing strategy be? The greatest benefit of a digital strategy is that you can test different approaches and quickly adjust your plan based on what is working and what is not. And I'll give you this example. I like to compare traditional media such as TV, radio, or print, and digital marketing. It is definitely more complicated to replace an advertisement on a magazine, for instance, than just to update your graphic on a Facebook ad. The logistics behind the traditional media and digital, again, it comes to the convenience and, of course, the cost.
Right.
So talking about our strategy, every actionable item needs these 5 other items. We need to plan it, then we need to implement. I know a lot of friends that spend most of their time planning, crafting the perfect plan, but they never execute it.
Right.
So they don't get to reach the number 3. They don't have results to analyze. Was it effective? Was it a catastrophic disaster?
Right.
They don't get to adjust what they tried, and they don't get to repeat. So if we plan it, if we implement it, now we are ahead. We already tried it. Now we get the data, we analyze it, we adjust, we tweak, and then we repeat it until we create. Now we can talk about perfection and try to create that perfect plan for our companies. And this plan will vary from company to company. Now let's talk about the digital strategy. So the digital strategy is conformed by a few, definitely more than these items I'm going to talk about, but these are the most popular. And I recommend everyone embrace every single one of these. Advertising. It is easier to advertise on Google, on Facebook, on Instagram, than to advertise in traditional media. And I have nothing against traditional media. It is effective. It is more expensive if you have the budget. but it's so convenient to use digital advertising, and you have to do it. If you are not doing it, you are missing out. Now, content is king. And we can develop our identity by the content we create. Publishing a regular cadence of high quality, relevant content online will help establish thought leadership. It can educate target customers about the problems your product can help them resolve. Email, there's so many tools out there, and I will share with you guys some tools in a minute. But email, there's so many tools to design beautiful, attractive email campaigns. And I know email inboxes are getting so cluttered. So these tools allow us to craft, again, not the perfect email, but something that is relevant to our audience. Now, this is another item that we cannot lose sight of it, and it's the mobile experience. If we are crafting your digital strategy around a desktop version, you need to adjust that immediately, because I don't have that statistic right now, but it's close to 93% of the people are using their phones either to shop, to possibly browse or do research on buying goods and services. 93% of people are using their phones rather than they are still using their desktop, but mainly because, again, we go back to the convenience.
Right.
It is convenient in the palm of our hand. Now, we're getting a little techie here, the paid search. We can buy certain words to be first 10 in the results, either on Google, the search engines pretty much. And that is a great strategy. But you need to create first the content. You need to have some sort of visibility out there. That is number one. And you need to guide your target audience to what you want them to see. If someone Googles Security National Mortgage Company, I probably guided the audience through the content I want them to see. It is important that they find contact information, the products and services we offer, the agents that we have. I mean, the very basics, they need to be able to find it first. Then the reputation is based on reviews. I find myself a lot of the time, even if it's to dine in a new restaurant, I go to Yelp, I go to Google to check the reviews. What is other consumers saying about their experiences at that restaurant that will be new to me? I'm about to buy a washer and dryer. What did I do? I went to the reviews, not necessarily the place, but the model of the particular washer and dryer. So the reputation is important, and is now more than ever built online. The search engine optimization versus the paid search, this is more oriented to be an organic search. And again, is based on content. If you are not doing blogs, please start your blog today and just have fun. Share your experiences through a blog. You can share your personal experiences within your industry. Give a little behind the scenes of about your industry. Share pictures, and most importantly, if you have the capability, share videos, integrate video. Again, it gives the consumer that interaction that not necessarily they are interacting with you, but it gives the perception of interaction. Now, social media, that is another thing that we cannot ignore. And I had it here like with exclamation points, video. That is the preferred piece of content out there right now. People can see you, people can hear you, they can create a feeling through the interaction. Again, you can set the tone, you can set, everything is in your control by creating a video. And webinars, and that is another video-based tool, and it's getting even more popular and it's not going anywhere. So a few resources and tools. Obviously, these are the most popular social media, and I included there the website, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. That's the professional platform to do social media. Why didn't I include TikTok? Why didn't I include? Those are still gaining popularity. If you want to venture, please, by any means, do it. Just throw content out there. Be a watcher first. Get familiar with the trends. And this is a great exercise. First, you have to see what other people are doing, and then you can tailor your own experience for your consumer based on what you learned. And you're not copying, right, by the way. These are great resources and tools. The ones on your left, Canva, Clipchamp, and the Adobe products are more directed to content creation. Canva and Clipchamp have their free version, and they are just great. They have a robust inventory of pictures, videos, you name it. You can create beautiful content through Canva. That is especially for social media, mostly graphics. You can create presentations. This presentation, for instance, was created with Canva, and all the elements you see on this presentation were created on Canva. Clipchamp, it is a very user-friendly video editor, and it's not a software that you need to download into a device. It is an online platform. You just need a username, a password, and an email account to be associated with your account, and you have immediate access. The ones in the middle, and let me make a big stop here. For your email marketing campaigns, you need a reliable CRM to take care of the communication with your customers. And HubSpot, that is a great alternative, and they offer a free version. MailChimp is one of the tools that help you create beautiful, and I know that there's more out there, but it's still one of my favorites. MailChimp allows you create effective and not spammy email campaigns. And this is the fabulous world of video on your right. OBS, that is a not too user-friendly platform that allows you to do live videos and produce them on the spot. You can do that definitely at a more webinar-like level through Zoom. You can produce, this is a show. What we are having here is a show. We have our guests and we are presenting content. So we are doing it through Zoom. But so far it is the preferred platform because of it is very convenient and it's easy to use. OBS is a little bit complicated. Now, StreamYard, it is kind of in the middle. It has a little bit of complexity, but it's worth learning this tool to deploy live shows to your social media. So you can have your show happening on StreamYard and you can share it simultaneously on your Facebook Live, on your LinkedIn Live, or YouTube, and you're hitting 3 completely different audiences at the same time.
Well, Jerry, what was that second one? That one there,
This one, OBS,
the one to the right. That
that's Zoom.
one. Oh, Zoom.
The
Okay,
blue icon.
never mind.
Yes. I cannot continue without giving you a few Facebook tips, because Facebook is by far, and it's excellent to try to conduct our digital strategy through this platform. For your business, if you don't have a business page, you need to create one by yesterday. And I will give you this example. For example, a real estate agent. It is easy for a real estate agent to have a personal profile, a profile on Facebook, and interact with people and put content through a profile on Facebook. Nothing wrong with that until Facebook detects that you are using your profile intended to socialize with people for business purposes. They can flag your profile and they can ban it and they can suspend it. Yes.
We can't do that. Why? I didn't know that was a rule.
It is a rule now, and that is why Facebook more and more is recommending to utilize, and it's free. You can create a business page for free, has no cost, and it even has more features than a regular Facebook profile. Through a business page, you can access analytics. When you are interacting through your profile, your personal profile, you can see likes, you can see loves, laughs, and shares and comments, but that is it. Analytics is the reach of your post. How many people actually saw your post? And this is, that's my favorite statistic, by the way, my favorite part of the data that Facebook provides you, and all the social platforms provide you, the reach. I can see a post and just keep scrolling and not necessarily interact with that post, but that interaction by me just seeing the post, it's accounted for. So through the reach, that is, I would say that would be the most accurate way to measure the success of a post. Just check your reach and you'll have a better understanding of how your posts are performing. Don't guide your criteria or your decisions only through the likes or the direct interactions on the post. And that you get through the analytics. You cannot utilize Facebook ads if you are using a personal profile. That's a feature that you can get, you get to use only if you have a business page. And that opens up a new world. When you start utilizing Facebook ads, you are not only interacting with your audience, but your reach increases 10 times. It depends on the budget you set, but for instance, if you put $20 behind a post, that doubles or triples the reach you're having with your current audience. Now, I know we are all busy people and we want to optimize our times, right? So when am I supposed to do all of these publishing and posting content and taking care of my social media. Well, great news, Facebook has, and there's other tools out there that you can utilize. But for Facebook in particular, and it's free, again, it's free, and it comes with your business page account, you can schedule your posts. So you can time block Monday 10 to 11. Let's say that's your slowest day. You block 1 hour to create content, you schedule it, and you forget about it, and you are all the time present throughout the rest of the week. And you can keep conducting business as usual, but then you have your presence online. Facebook Live, that is, again, it is video. Facebook Live adds a layer of extra entertainment. People by nature wants to see you mess up. If it's live, they are going to be waiting for that moment that you forgot what you were going to say, that you said something borderline inappropriate. They are waiting for that moment, and that is something that Facebook Live provides. And that is why a Facebook Live has better performance even than a regular video. And Facebook groups, those are small communities that are narrowed down by topic. You can find groups that are dedicated for building contractors, for realtors, mortgage lenders, CPAs, and then you can make it even narrower. You can go by region. You can have the Tampa Bay realtors. You can have the Tampa Bay, the Tarpon Springs mortgage lenders, and so on and so forth. It gets so specific that that allows you to interact with a group that is looking to consume a particular type of content. And that is just fascinating to target an audience. So a few recommendations on good practices. Respect your audience. Not only when you are posting on social media, but for instance, if someone grants you their permission, if someone gives you their permission to email them, to text them, don't abuse that privilege. Don't get too spammy. You don't want them to block you. It is just distasteful. So respect your audience. Know your audience too. A great way to know your audience, you can conduct surveys. And there's, again, multiple resources out there. One of my favorite tools is SurveyMonkey. It is so easy to use, and you can email that, you can text that survey, and you can get more definitely insights on what your audience is thinking and how they are evolving. Give more than what you ask, and that applies when you are creating content. And content can become spammy if you are all the time talking about only your products and services and buy this, buy that. This is the promotion of the month. This is what we are offering today. Come today. That gets spammy. Give a little bit more. If you are, for instance, in the, if you're a restaurant, you can share a little bit more about the community your restaurant is located at. Share an event that is happening in your community that is always a traffic attractor to your business page. And you are giving, you are not taking anything from that audience. And this is, I have a lot of favorites, by the way, here. We have to be real and we have to be honest. And that is how you really cut through the noise. If you are being yourself, there's nothing wrong with being candid when you are in public, when you are interacting with your audience. Be candid, Be real, be you, show the behind the scenes, just show what's going on. And people really appreciate that. So are you guys overwhelmed yet? So probably this is a good moment to stop and evaluate if your marketing effort is something that you're going to do it yourself. If you have the time, if you have, it requires discipline to time block and dedicate enough time to conduct an effective marketing plan and strategies and follow up and so on and so forth. Or you can have the option of outsourcing marketing. This can be a little tricky because you lose that control that we like to have. Mm-hmm. Now you need to monitor and supervise at a certain extent if you're outsourcing your marketing. Now you can, if your budget allows it, you can find yourself in a great spot to hire a marketing professional. That way you can tailor the experience inside of your company and outside of the company with your consumers or with the community. Or in this fourth item, a lot of people forget about this, and it's so funny to me because sometimes it's free. You can partner up with other companies in your community, and you can, or through the partnership, you can trade products or services in exchange of marketing assistance. And the best thing you can do is be your own. You are your own brand, so embrace it, show it to everyone. And I like to close my presentations with one quote. I just couldn't choose one. I would like to share two. Ignoring online marketing is like opening a business.
Seminar's over at 9:30, and after that, probably like 10:30, 11.
Perfect, 10:30 and 11. I have a conference call at 10 o'clock with Chris and Summit Insurance.
Go ahead. I just muted her.
Ignoring online marketing is like opening a business but not telling anyone. How is that? I mean, the whole purpose of opening a business is getting the most people you can to, exactly. So online marketing is your go-to. I know it's busy, it's saturated, but if you are not doing an online effort, you, and I don't want to sound rude, but you don't exist in that platform. It is like having a permanent billboard on Tampa Road and you just remove it and hide it.
Or have no content on it.
Correct. And the best marketing doesn't feel like marketing. So when you are being authentic, when you are sharing, when people can perceive if you are really enjoying it or not. So enjoy what you're doing, share those experiences, and you'll see how your engagement, your interaction with your audience will increase immediately. So that's all I have for you today. I don't know if we have any questions.
We've got plenty of time for questions. Any questions out in the audience? I know I've got a couple myself, but I'll turn it over to you guys first. If you have a question, just unmute and ask Gerry.
I got a question for you on social media and like Facebook. On like most of, like 90% of my posts get deleted, even though they have nothing to do with anything against their guidelines. Is there a way around any of that?
Can you repeat it one more time? I'm sorry, I missed a little bit.
On social media, Facebook, 90% of my posts are rejected, and
Okay.
they meet the guidelines, but every time I've tried to fight them on it, they just say sorry. Is there a way around any of that?
Is your industry housing, employment? There is a button that you just need to activate. Sometimes that will do the trick. Most of the time, if you activate that button for special ad category, and that will just pass the advertisement.
What is it called?
It's special ad category button. And it's when you are creating, when you are setting the budget, when you are setting the geographical location that you want to hit, you'll see it is one button. Let me see if I can pull it here. Just to give you a little,
Gerry, while you're doing that, I just want to say, great job. Well done. A lot of great information, really valuable.
thank you, sir.
And you are definitely right. This is all about consistency. And I do want to throw in that time blocking is going to be the most important part. If you can set aside an hour a week, even if it's on a Sunday morning, having a cup of coffee, definitely that's a good critical deployment plan.
It is critical to time block, and especially if you decided to do it yourself, you need to time block and dedicate that particular time. It is part of your business. You have your business plan, and don't look at the marketing plan as the part that can be just left behind or undone. It needs to get done.
Right.
Just look at it as any other critical part of your business. If you are not flipping that open and close little banner on your door,
Right.
that is an essential thing to do, same as your marketing strategy.
I know, as a realtor coming from a Keller Williams background, I mean, they're real big on planning.
Mhm.
But the key thing, like you said, is the implementation of that, and being held accountable to actually implementing whatever your business plan is. Because without the implementation, you have a great plan, but nothing else.
And you don't get to experience the data,
Right.
what people are thinking about, what you did, and that feedback is critical
Right.
on how you can tailor the experience for those who already experience it and for those who are going to.
Right. At the,
So let me see, I have here, Thomas, I don't know if you can see, here's when you are creating an ad. Here, there's a special ad category. You can hit there to read all the guidelines on that. But I know that if you just select that button and you select the category on your ad, that will pass the filter, the Facebook filter.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. My pleasure.
I may be showing my ignorance of social media and stuff, but you talked about how important it was to have a blog. How is a blog different than Facebook?
A blog, that is actually a great question, because a blog brings content not only to social media. Of course, you can share a blog on social media, but there is a lot of platforms where you can actually write a blog. And that populates more content if you are to Google something. So if I am writing Gerry Cierra, that is on the blog as an author, I put the name of my company, Security National Mortgage Company. So that would be an extra piece of content for a Google search to find when someone is typing mortgage. If I'm talking about mortgage and they type mortgage, more than likely, it increases the chances of being shown in the results if you have a blog.
I got you.
Because that is the type of content that is given more than taken away from the consumer. That is the key. And that is why in the good practices, I mentioned how we need to give more than what we take from the consumer.
Right.
So we give content, we can give recommendations on anything. Talk about your community, events in your community. If you have a charity, talk about your favorite charity. There's a million things that you can share with your audience that won't be invasive, and you're going to give more than what you take from them.
All right. Yeah, any other questions out there?
I have one last question. So all these different platform blogs and social media, how important is it to go back each day and reply to every single question and comment, or just someone says, you guys are great, do you just reply back to that? Because that's a lot of time.
You can, it is definitely, it will, I have two ways to respond to that. It is critical to respond. It doesn't have to be necessarily, if you cannot respond, it's not the end of the world. But it will create, there is something called the Facebook algorithm. And if you are interacting with every single response on, I'm using Facebook as an example, or even a blog, like you mentioned, if you are responding to every single comment, it will get more relevancy. So those algorithms will detect that piece of content as relevant to the audience, because their interaction allowed you to interact back.
Right.
So it's not like you commenting on your own blog.
Right. So you're getting that give and
Exactly.
take, and they're measuring that.
So if you have 5 comments and you respond to those 5 comments, now you have 10 interactions. And those algorithms are very smart, but not as smart. So that's how you get more relevant content out there. And when you open your Facebook, I'm sure that everyone has asked this question to themselves. Why do I see these same people? Why do I see pretty much the same 5? The first 5 posts is more than likely something that you've seen before, or that you've liked, or that you've commented on, and normally it's that algorithm that is bringing that content, that the algorithm is saying, oh, this content is relevant to you.
All righty. Well, that brings us pretty much to the end. If there's no other questions, we appreciate you for joining us, and thank you very much, Gerry, for coming in.
Thank you for
Very
the
informative.
invitation.
All right, everybody have a great day. Stay safe. Come out to Second Friday tomorrow night, 6 to 10 downtown Oldsmar on State Street. And that's a wrap.